Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, your life is just an endless to-do list that never shrinks? That was exactly how I felt every single day. I was constantly busy, rushing from task to task, yet somehow still ending each day feeling completely drained and unfulfilled. Then I discovered Essentialism by Greg McKeown, and everything changed. It wasn't another productivity trick or time management hack. Instead, it challenged everything I believed about productivity and success. It taught me the powerful lesson of doing fewer things but doing them exceptionally well. Today, I'm going to share the 3 key insights from Essentialism that literally transformed my life, giving me clarity, helping me overcome burnout, and dramatically boosting my productivity and happiness. And the best part? These insights are simple enough that you can apply them to your life starting immediately. So, if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed and you're ready to reclaim control over your schedule, your energy, and your life, then stay with me. This could be exactly what you've been waiting for. When I first picked up Essentialism, written by Greg McKeown, I honestly wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking. I've read countless books promising to boost productivity or simplify life, yet somehow they all left me with the same feeling of temporary motivation, without lasting change. But Greg McKeown's approach was refreshingly different. From the very first pages, it was clear this wasn't your typical do more in less time type of book. Instead, it boldly suggested something that initially felt strange, almost radical. What if success isn't about doing more things, but about doing fewer things with incredible focus? Greg is not just another motivational speaker. He's an accomplished leadership consultant who's worked directly with CEOs and teams from companies like Apple, Google, and LinkedIn. His real-world experience shines through every chapter. He doesn't sugarcoat reality. Instead, he openly addresses how talented individuals and teams often fail. Not due to lack of effort, but because they're spread too thin, chasing too many priorities at once. What genuinely sets Essentialism apart is Greg's willingness to challenge deeply rooted beliefs about productivity and success. He encourages readers not just to change habits, but to shift their mindset completely. He advocates living by design rather than by default, something that deeply resonated with me personally. As we dive deeper today, you'll see exactly how Greg's revolutionary ideas can help you transform overwhelm into clarity and stress into meaningful progress. If you've ever felt trapped by endless obligations and commitments, this book and the insights I'll share today can truly change your life. One of the most powerful concepts I took from Essentialism was Greg McKeown's idea of the disciplined pursuit of less. At first, it sounded completely counterintuitive. After all, we live in a culture where more is always considered better. More goals, more projects, more accomplishments. How could doing less ever lead to more success? But then I realized something powerful. When you try to do everything, you rarely achieve anything truly significant. This lesson became crystal clear when I faced one of the busiest weeks of my life. My calendar was packed with meetings, deadlines, and projects. I felt overwhelmed before the week had even begun. Normally, I just power through, sacrificing sleep and family time, believing that hard work was the only solution. But this time, inspired by Greg's advice, I decided to try something radical. I chose to say no. I looked at every task and asked myself, does this align clearly with my most important goals? If the answer wasn't a definite yes, I politely declined or delegated the task. Let me be completely honest, it was terrifying. I worried about disappointing people, losing opportunities, or appearing unproductive. But as the week went by, something incredible happened. Because I intentionally reduced my workload, I was able to give intense focus to the tasks I truly valued. My work became sharper, deeper, and far more effective. I felt more energized, less stressed, and significantly more fulfilled. Most surprising of all, nobody criticized or questioned my choices. Instead, colleagues admired my clarity and confidence. Greg describes this as the art of deliberate elimination. He says every decision is a trade-off. Saying yes to something non-essential means saying no to something truly meaningful. This made me realize that every yes I had been giving out carelessly was costing me dearly, especially in terms of time, health, and happiness. Here's an actionable step you can apply immediately to experience this powerful principle yourself. Actionable step. Right after this video, take a few minutes and list your current commitments. Highlight only 3 that are genuinely aligned with your deepest priorities. Then, commit to deliberately reducing or eliminating at least one non-essential task from your list today. When I applied this simple practice, my productivity didn't just increase, it exploded. It also allowed me space for things that genuinely mattered, like family dinners, exercise, and meaningful rest. It gave me control over my life again. Imagine how much more effective, fulfilled, and peaceful you could feel if you simply allowed yourself to do less but better. If there's one lesson from Essentialism I'd urge you to apply immediately, it's this disciplined pursuit of less. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but the long-term impact will genuinely amaze you. The second major insight from Essentialism that truly changed my life was Greg's powerful reminder that our energy, not just our time, is our most precious resource. Before discovering this concept, I never thought much about my personal energy levels. My typical day was a chaotic mix of emails, meetings, constant multitasking, and frequent distractions. I'd often work late, skipping meals and neglecting rest, believing that pushing harder would lead me to success. And yet, despite the countless hours spent grinding, I was exhausted and never felt like I was doing my best work. Greg's simple statement completely shifted my perspective. If you don't protect your energy, you'll never achieve sustained high performance. To put this idea into action, I decided to conduct an experiment in my own life. For 2 full weeks, I consciously focused on protecting my energy. I began by identifying exactly what drained me most, and I was shocked to realize it wasn't the big tasks or projects, but the seemingly small, repetitive actions I performed unconsciously throughout the day. Things like constantly checking emails every 5 minutes, attending unnecessary meetings, or mindlessly scrolling through social media during breaks. All these small distractions were quietly exhausting me. Following Greg's advice, I began setting clear boundaries. I checked emails only 3 times a day: morning, noon, and end of the workday. I politely declined any meeting without a clear purpose or benefit. I turned off notifications on my phone and kept it in another room while working on important tasks. To be honest, initially this felt uncomfortable. I feared missing urgent updates or disappointing colleagues. But here's what actually happened. My energy levels surged dramatically. Tasks that previously took hours now took just half the time. Because I was no longer chronically distracted, my focus improved massively, and I was consistently able to produce high-quality work. Even my colleagues noticed and began respecting these boundaries, often following my lead themselves. The biggest change, however, wasn't productivity. It was how much more present and energized I felt outside of work. I no longer ended the day feeling completely drained. I had energy left to exercise, spend quality time with family, and even pursue hobbies I'd long neglected. Greg emphasizes that protecting your energy doesn't mean being selfish or less ambitious. It means being smart about how you spend your most valuable resource. It's about realizing that energy, just like time, must be invested carefully, not scattered thoughtlessly. Here's an actionable step for you to apply this immediately. After this video, take a moment and write down 3 specific things in your daily routine that drain your energy but bring minimal value. Commit to either completely eliminating or strictly limiting these activities starting tomorrow. It might be something as simple as reducing the frequency of email checks or removing unnecessary meetings from your schedule. When you consciously protect your energy, you'll quickly notice dramatic improvements, not just in productivity, but in your overall well-being, happiness, and relationships. Trust me, this small change can completely transform your daily life. The third lesson from Essentialism completely changed how I approach my life. It's the powerful idea of clearly identifying and relentlessly focusing on your priorities. Greg McKeown has a remarkable way of putting this. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Those words hit me harder than I expected because, at the time, I felt like my entire schedule was controlled by other people's priorities, not mine. My calendar was filled with endless meetings, requests from others, and obligations that rarely aligned with what I truly valued. I felt trapped, stressed, and frankly unhappy. After reflecting deeply on Greg's advice, I decided to take back control. I sat down one weekend and asked myself honestly, what do I truly value? What genuinely matters most to me? After some deep reflection, I realized my true priorities were my family, creating meaningful work, and my personal health. Yet ironically, these were the areas of my life I had been neglecting most. Greg suggests identifying what's called your essential intent, a clear, focused statement of purpose that guides your daily decisions. My essential intent became very clear: create meaningful, impactful content while maintaining health and genuine connections with my family. With this essential intent clearly defined, I began to measure every single decision against it. Any opportunity, project, or commitment that didn't directly support these priorities was respectfully declined. Initially, it felt uncomfortable and even risky. I worried that saying no to good opportunities would negatively impact my career or relationships. But the exact opposite happened. My work became dramatically better because I could focus intensely and passionately on fewer tasks that truly mattered. My relationships grew stronger because I was no longer scattered, distracted, or stressed by countless meaningless commitments. My health improved because I was deliberately making time for rest and exercise. I want to invite you to apply this same clarity to your life immediately. Right after this video, take 5 minutes and clearly write down your top 3 priorities. Then, look at your calendar and commitments honestly. How many things are directly aligned with these priorities? How many are just distractions that others have placed there? It's a powerful exercise. When you have the courage to remove what's non-essential, you reclaim space and freedom to fully invest in what matters. And that clarity, knowing exactly what's essential to you, can bring remarkable peace, satisfaction, and genuine success. It certainly did for me, and I believe it can do the same for you. At this point, we've explored 3 powerful insights from Essentialism, but now let me give you my completely honest and balanced review of the book itself. When I first read Essentialism, it was refreshing and genuinely inspiring. Greg McKeown isn't simply repackaging old ideas, instead he's created something unique, something simple yet profoundly impactful. But like every book, Essentialism has its strengths, and a few areas that I feel could have been even better. What makes this book so powerful? First, Essentialism's greatest strength is how actionable it is. This isn't one of those books you read once, feel inspired, and promptly forget. Greg gives you clear, practical steps you can start applying immediately. Each chapter ends with simple but impactful questions that genuinely shift your thinking. Another major strength of Essentialism is the depth and quality of the storytelling. Greg shares relatable stories from everyday people, executives, artists, and entrepreneurs. These stories don't just illustrate his points, they deeply resonate on a personal level. As I read, I found myself constantly nodding along, recognizing my own struggles and seeing clearly how to apply each lesson. However, I want to be transparent. There is one area that felt less strong to me. Throughout the book, Greg sometimes repeats certain ideas more often than necessary. While repetition can reinforce learning, occasionally I felt the pacing slowed down, especially if you're already deeply familiar with productivity concepts. Also, some readers might find the ideas challenging to fully apply in their specific environments. Especially in corporate settings or jobs with rigid structures where saying no frequently isn't always practical or acceptable. Greg does touch on this, but more specific guidance in these scenarios might have added even greater value. But despite these minor drawbacks, let me be clear, this book genuinely delivers tremendous value. Its strengths far outweigh any small limitations. In fact, Essentialism significantly impacted my life, and I'm convinced it can do the same for you. Personally, my biggest takeaway wasn't just productivity or doing less. It was reclaiming clarity, control, and meaning. Essentialism provided me with the courage to redefine success on my terms, teaching me to protect my energy, respect my priorities, and embrace saying no without guilt. After fully embracing essentialism, I experienced immediate improvements in my work quality, mental health, and even relationships. Most importantly, it reminded me, and now I'm reminding you, that doing fewer things but doing them exceptionally well truly is the path to long-term fulfillment. Before we wrap up, I want to challenge you to think deeply about your own life. Are you truly focusing on what's essential, or are you trapped in a never-ending cycle of busyness without clear direction? We've covered a lot today, and now I want you to pause and reflect honestly. What does living as an essentialist mean for you right now? We've explored how Greg McKeown's Essentialism can help you move from feeling overwhelmed and burned out to achieving clarity, fulfillment, and genuine productivity. You've heard my personal stories, how saying no, protecting my energy, and clearly defining priorities transformed my life in ways I never imagined possible. But now it's your turn. I want to encourage you, right this very moment, to take one meaningful step. Grab a notebook or just your phone and clearly write down one thing you will eliminate or simplify immediately, starting today. It could be as simple as turning off unnecessary notifications, canceling non-essential commitments, or dedicating specific, uninterrupted time for your top priority. Then, I'd love if you'd share that step with me. Comment below right now with the one commitment you're making today. Your action could inspire someone else who's feeling exactly as you once did. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so you won't miss future videos where we continue exploring powerful, life-changing ideas from remarkable books. Thanks for joining me today. Remember, your life is too important to spend it overwhelmed. Choose less, but choose better. See you next time.